Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Friday night and welcome to my Zen Den. Thank you so much for tuning in to craft with me. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for finding me and welcome to my Zen Den. My name is Mandy VanHavermaet and I am I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Gray Eagle, Minnesota, which is right in the center of Minnesota, out in rural America. So thank you so much for watching. This week has been one of those weeks that I am so reminded why I love paper crafting and why I love stamping. It's been hectic. It's been crazy and people are just, I think we're all getting antsy and there was a lot of storms and things like that. So I am in need of this downtime and in need of this crafting time. So I am so very thankful to be here with you. Tonight I'm going to be demonstrating a stamp set that it's just a stamp set that's in the annual catalog. It's called Stepping Stones, and I am a sucker for word stamp sets. I absolutely love word stamp sets. I love really good quotes. So Stepping Stones has those two things. So it's just words. There's no images, nothing like that. But to me, they are just fantastic words and they're unique and I love them. So let's flip the camera around and we will get stamping. Hold on. I'm sorry. You did not need to see my whole hand. Hold on one second. I will flip the camera and then I'll turn it around. I can so do this. Oh, for real, it's just been totally one of those weeks. So, all right, you can see my messy desk over here. Let's see what we got going on here. I do not know where your phone is. I'm sorry. I've got a child asking where his phone is. So here is Stepping Stones. It is on page 64 of the catalog. There it is. It's right down here. It is a red rubber stamp set, so it stamps really nice and crisp. Great sentiments in there. Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much. Helen Keller. Great works are performed not by strength, but by perseverance. Samuel Johnson. Dream no small dreams, for they have no power to move the hearts of men. J.W. Vigoth. Follow Your Own Star, Dante Alighieri. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. My favorite one, Wrinkles Should Merely Indicate Where Smiles Have Been, Mark Twain. Mark Twain's one of my favorites. I love him. And An Obstacle is Often a Stepping Stone, William Prescott. And that, of course, is where they get the name. So, love this stamp set. So, a couple of really fairly simple cards tonight. Using this. One is more masculine, one is more feminine. Both can be adapted to anything that you want to use. So let's get started with some stamping. The first one I'm going to show you, it's going to be using what's been called the torn technique. It's really a really interesting technique and I love it. It's so simple. So what we're going to do is I've got a piece of designer series paper and that is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. Typical panel. And this is out of the Hey Sports Fan designer series paper. This is in the small January to June mini catalog. It's kind of baseball themed, so that's pretty cool. I've got my Night of Navy ink pad and I've got the sentiment that says, dream no small dreams, for they have no power to move the hearts of men. And I think this is going to I'm actually making this into a graduation card because I think this is, I just love that sentiment. I love it. So I've got a congratulations that I'm going to stamp on the inside. This is from Inspired Thoughts, but we have lots of congratulations stamp sets that you can use. So let's do the technique. This is my version of how to do this technique. This does not mean that this is the only way, but this is the way that I chose to do it. So I'm going to bring in my scoring tool or my cutting. Oh my word. I'm going to bring in my cutter and I'm going to use the scoring blade and I'm going to line it up at 1 1/4, and I'm going to score it down to 4. So I'm going, there's actually, if you, there's a, if I put this behind, maybe you can see a little better. There's a ruler over here. So I'm going to score it down to 4, okay? So let's put it in, line it up at 1 1/4, and I'm going to score it down to right to 4. And it doesn't have to be perfect exact, but that's what I'm going to do. Move it back up, and now I'm going to line the other side up with 1 1/4 on this side. So I've got score lines at 1 1/4 down to 4 inches, okay? And I'm just going to fold that a little bit, and I'm only doing that so that I can see what I got going on, okay? This is all done. Set that aside. So what I'm going to do is I'm really literally going to tear this on my score line. Here again, you're tearing paper, so it doesn't have to be perfect. The score line actually makes it pretty perfect though. Tear it till it's done, till you get to where you stopped, right? Okay, so right there. So now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to add adhesive onto these parts, and this part here, I'm actually going to literally roll it up, and it's going to look like it was torn, and revealing our sentiment. Okay, so let's fold this and burnish it. And really, this is a fast, simple card. And I think it is so striking, the way that it turns out after you've got it all done. Make sure you put a piece of adhesive right where you've rolled it up. Otherwise, it has the potential to pop up and not hold down correctly. So go ahead and put that down just like that. All right. So I'm going to use, I like to use a heavier, so I'm using Seal Plus. I would use either Seal Plus or glue or tear and tape for this part. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that right back here, right at the edge of where I've torn it. So when I roll it, it actually holds down there a little, like better, okay? I'm afraid that if I use just my regular seal, it's not gonna have the holding power that it would have with the Seal Plus. So that's a little bump on there, but it's not too big of a bump. It might need, I didn't ever try it in an envelope yet. It might need an extra 20 cents or 30 cents on your stamp or stamp postage because of the bump, but it's really not as bad as some of the embellishments that we put on. So I've got my Night of Navy ink pad, and we've got a little bit of faith here because now I've got this finished, and I'm gonna hope that it stamps right. And we're gonna try our best. So stamp it up, try not to get any goobers on there, and then stamp straight down, straight up. Perfect. Is that not the coolest thing? I just love it. Imagine some of the really neat neat papers you could do with that. I just think that is the neatest thing. While I've got my ink out, I'm going to take my congratulations stamp, and I'm going to stamp that right in there. If you had like a congratulations to the graduate or something like that, it would be even maybe a little bit better. But how cool is that? I think it just needs a couple of little stars on there because it's got to have something. So I've got the resin stars. These go with the paper from the, let's see, what did I say it was? Hey Sports Fan suite. So I'm going to take just a few of these. I just think it's so fun. There we go. All right, so there's card number 1. Really, really quick. And this is called, again, the torn technique. So if you wanted to rough this up a little bit more, maybe, you could certainly do that. Let's do that. Got my take your pick tool. You can roughen that up just a little bit more easily. You would think I'd be able to do that. That's going to add just a little bit more texture, right? Make it look a little bit more torn. Isn't it funny that we work so hard to get some of our stuff so perfect, and then we go and try to tear it up? It's kind of like holy jeans, right? There we go. Lifted it up nice there, that one. All right. So tearing that up just a little bit more kind of makes it look a little bit more torn. A little rougher, like that look. So, all right, there we go. There is card number 1. And I could pick on this all day long now if I'm going to make it look rough and tough. But I got to stop because we got another card to make. All right. So card number 2 has got a little bit more involved in it, but still not a difficult card at all. So I have got, let's see here. What do I got? I've got the Merry Merlot ink pad. This is just a scrap of Mossy Meadow, and I need a scrap of basic white. I've got a piece of, let's start at the bottom. I've got a piece of Merry Merlot cardstock. This is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. A piece of basic white for the inside of the card because it's dark cardstock. I have got a piece of polished pink, and this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of Awash and Beauty Designer Series paper. This is from the annual catalog. It is a stunning, beautiful floral paper. So pretty, so pretty. And this is where I'm pulling the colors from. The colors in there I think are Merry Merlot, polished pink, Mossy Meadow. This is actually Calypso Coral, but I'm going to be using Pale Papaya because I just thought the lighter color was a little bit better. And then I've got a piece of Distressed Gold Specialty Designer Series paper. This is a really neat Designer Series paper also. It comes in big 12 by 12 sheets, but it's a nice thin paper. It's bendable, so it's not like a gold foil, but it's got this beautiful distressed finish to it. I just love it. It's so pretty. So this is, I'm going to be using a sketch that I've seen recently from Stesha Bloodheart out of Wisconsin. So that is what we're going to do. So let's do it. So I am going to just put my polished pink right on top of my Merry Merlot. Is that not the prettiest color combination? So beautiful. Love it. I'm going to use my Stampin' seal and just put that right on there, just like that. So it's a basic matte, right? So now I'm going to take, let's see here, I gotta have my cheater. I'm going to take my strip, and so this is cut at 5 by half. This piece of Designer Series paper is cut at 2.5 by 4.5, and this piece of Pale Papaya is cut at 1.5 by 4. Okay, so I'm going to take my gold, distressed paper. I love it. I think it's so pretty. And it is not at all like a foil. It doesn't eat up your blades as bad. I've noticed when I was cutting it. It tends to, sometimes foil tends to really dull our blades on our trimmer. This did not. It was really a nice, nice paper to cut. I liked it a lot. So I'm going to put down the Designer Series paper, just like this. And I'm having it I'm overlapping it on that gold just a little bit, but not very much because I want that gold to show through. Okay, and now my Pale Papaya, I am going to use the Time Worn Type embossing folder. So I'll show you my sandwich for that on my cut and emboss machine. So I've got my #1 plate, and I'm using, this is a 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to use the sandwich like this. So I'm going to use my #1 plate and my #4 plate along with my embossing folder. And something else I like to do is Stampin' Up! Always has a line across the bottom. When this has lines going across it, so if you line it up, your paper up along with that black line, it's kind of helps to keep your paper straight. So kind of a neat idea, neat little tip. So I will run this through my cut and emboss machine. And there is my beautiful embossed image. Just adds a little bit of texture. I really like it. So I'm going to take that and I am going to put it over the edge just a little bit. Just like this. Aren't those colors so beautiful together? Oh, I just love it. That's so rich looking. All right, so now I am going to take my basic white and I'm taking the stamp set that says great works are performed by not by strength but by perseverance. What a great encouragement card. If you just need to write a note to a friend, what a great encouragement. I love it. I just love it. So I'm just going to stamp that straight down on my scrap of basic white. And I am going to be using this die here is from the Seasonal Layers dies. So I'm going to let that dry just a little bit because sometimes my bolder colors tend to stay just a little bit wet. So I'm going to leave that dry for just a second. While I do that, I will cut out, I've got my bow punch and I thought this needed just a little bit of greenery. So I'm going to punch that out and I'm really only going to use that. So if you had a strip of Mossy Meadow, that would work perfect. So this is the bow punch. It actually punches out two pieces. So that's what I'm talking about. If you would have just had a strip, about a 1 1/4 inch strip, that would have worked really well because I'm not going to use that little one. Okay, so I've let that sit for just a minute. Let's put that through my cut and emboss machine and I'm going to use my fabulous new magnetic plate, which I am so in love with. I'm just going to rip that off so it all fits. I can't tell you how much I love my magnetic plate. It makes me happy. Just being in my Zen den makes me happy. All right, and so then to do the sandwich with the magnetic plate, you've got your number 1, your number 5, and your number 3. Again, the illustration that comes with the magnetic plate is not correct. You just need number 1, 5, and 3. Okay? So let's run that through our cut and emboss machine. It's so quick. I just love it. Just take that off, take that off. Perfect. Love it. All right. So let's put our card together. So what I'm going to do is it's going to look something like, I'm going to put that there and I'm going to put this with some dimensionals there. So I am going to take a little bit of Tombow glue and just put a little bit of that on the back of my leaves. Just like that. And then I'm going to place it right about there. If you wanted some of your leaves to maybe fold up, you could totally do that. I just want mine to stay down. All right, so I'm going to take some dimensionals, put them on the back, put one in the center because I do not want my center to sag down. We don't want no saggy centers. Really good grammar there, right? All right, and so I'm going to place this right like this. I'm going to pull it over just a smidge because I want it to go off there a little bit. Is that not the most beautiful card in the world? I love it. It needs just a little bit of sparkle. So I'm using the iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. I think they're so pretty. They pick up colors so well and they look awesome with this designer series paper because they kind of look pink. They kind of, I mean, they just look so cool. Have I mentioned they look cool? All right. One more little one. There's 3 different sizes on there. So I've got 2 of the middle size and 1 of the small. So what a beautiful encouragement card. I just love it. So let's go ahead and put a piece of basic white on the inside. I am going to leave this blank on the inside. I'm not putting anything because an encouragement note would be fantastic in here. So, all right. So there is card number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed these cards. This was the stamp set that initially caught my eye when I was first looking through the catalog. Word stamp sets, good words, just make me so very happy. So let's flip this back around. All right, I almost pushed the wrong button. I almost pushed finish instead of turn it around. Sometimes my camera just, you know. All right, so thank you so very much for tuning in tonight. Thank you, Joyce, for the compliment. Thank you for tuning in. I so appreciate you taking the time to join me every Friday night. Next Friday night, I will not be live. My baby girl is graduating from high school next Friday. So it's my first, actually, that will be graduating. So I'll be a puddle, guaranteed. I have no intention of making it through that entire ceremony with dry eyes. It's just what happens. So I will not be here next Friday night, but I will be here the following Friday to share some more cards with you. So I hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you are watching this on YouTube, I so appreciate you. If you could give me a couple of thumbs up, that would be great. And I will see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.